everybody.
Howdy.
You usually don't help me with these court cases.
Well, here again, this isn't really breaking news. This is predictable news.
Predictive emotions and all of that.
Well, you know, when you get into the content, it's going to be easy to see what has happened here, because when you have an organization that's a publishing house pretending to be a religion and then writing or using the Bible, that their God Jehovah has this heavenly scene where they're looking to fool Ahab, and God says, well, who will do it? And an angel says, I'll do it. And God says, how will you do it? Well, I'll become a deceptive spirit. Well, that same deceptive spirit is at play here in the mouth of Brumley. And guess what? He failed to fool the courts.
We should call him Bumbling Brumley.
Bumbling Brumley,
yeah.
Exactly.
Well, that's why Mike wanted to help me with this court case, and it's going to be a bit long because I have a lot of information here to cover. And I was so busy with the Big Cava Scott case that I kind of neglected this one. Now, this is the second case that was filed in Montana. We all know about the Nunez-McGowan court case who went all the way to, the Supreme Court. But this was the second one, and they just had a document filed on August 23rd, 2022. And there has been a lot going on. I spent most of the morning downloading all of these documents. Now I'm going to put the link down below to where you can get these documents, and you can get pretty much all of them. There's a blue button that says download PDF. There's some that you have to be a member of PACER and buy, or go to the court directly and buy the documents. But I am on courtlistener.com, and they have the docket and several documents. And like I said, it's already going to be quite lengthy because I have so much to cover here. So I'm just going to hit a few of the highlights. And Mike is here for mocking and making fun, well, like he knows how to do.
Once again, it's predictive programming when it comes to the Watchtower Babel Crap Society. When one of the governing body members here not too long ago made some off-the-wall comment, we don't have an organization of lawyers. Yes, you do, and they suck at their job.
Yeah, so I did have to make some notes here. Now, first of all, a Montana federal judge, I believe her first name is Susan Waters, has issued an order for financial sanctions against Watchtower and Brumley for the false and or misleading affidavit in two Montana cases.
Who will go and fool the Montana judge? I'll do it, says Brumley. I'm a good liar.
And I do not know how to pronounce the one's last name. It looks like Kakert and Mapley. So these are the two CSA abuse survivors. And first I'm going to read the, when you go to Court Listener, scroll to the very bottom to get the latest document. And this is document number 135. Like I said, it was filed on August 23rd, 22. And I'm going to read the conclusion signed by the judge. It is hereby ordered that the plaintiff's motion for sanctions, document number 101, is granted in part and denied in part. It is further ordered that plaintiffs shall submit a financial affidavit of all costs, expenses, and attorney's fees directly resulting from their efforts to respond to Watchtower of Pennsylvania's motion to dismiss and conducting jurisdictional discovery in response to Watchtower of Pennsylvania's motion to dismiss and Brumley's affidavit within 14 days of the date of this order. Brumley shall then have 14 days following the filing of plaintiff's financial affidavit to respond to the affidavit. Busted. Busted. Now, first of all, I thought it would be humorous to read Brumley's affidavit.
Who'll go and fool the courts?
Now, when in your list on court listener, this is document 14, attachment number 1, filed June 22nd, 2020. 4 pages. You guys are going to get a kick out of that, and I'm sure it's going to give Mikey a laugh.
Well, there again, this is just so predictable.
Affidavit of Philip Brumley. Bumbling Brumley. I, Philip Brumley, first being duly sworn, hereby dispose and state. First of all, I got to ask, is he licensed and certified with the bar in Montana? I doubt it. Okay, going on. I am general counsel for defendant Watchtower Bible Tract Society of Pennsylvania. That was an interesting, not
Yeah,
New York.
not New York.
Pennsylvania. And I also want to mention that the 1977 organization book was submitted for evidence pertaining to the affidavit and the plaintiff's motions that Brumley is lying through his teeth. Okay, now this is what Brumley stated in his affidavit that was filed with the clerk. In this role, I have direct knowledge of the information contained in this affidavit. Okay? So he's admitting right there that he has direct knowledge of the information in this affidavit. Number 3, Watchtower, Pennsylvania is a nonprofit religious membership corporation formed in 1881 under the nonprofit corporation laws of the state of Pennsylvania. Okay, number 4, it gives the address, Tuxedo Park, New York. Number 5, Watchtower, Pennsylvania has its own assets, liabilities, offices, board of directors, and officers separate from every other entity used by Jehovah's Witnesses. And this is what Mike and I have been saying for years. The board of directors is the money and the power, and that the governing body in New York are just puppets.
So all those Jehovah's Witnesses that have been calling us liars for a decade, the proof is right here in Brumley's own mouth.
Now this is where it gets interesting, and that's why I wanted to read this. Number 6, Watchtower, Pennsylvania is not the direct or indirect parent or subsidiary of any other corporation involved in this action. So they're trying to separate themselves from Watchtower of New York and all the other branches they have, you know, like the Christian Congregation, Jehovah's Witnesses,
right.
the Religious Order, all of those. So they're Pennsylvania's trying to separate themselves. Number 7, Watchtower, Pennsylvania does not have and never has had offices in Montana, does not own assets in Montana, and does not have employees in Montana. That doesn't matter. Number 8, Watchtower, Pennsylvania does not conduct business in Montana and is not and never has been registered to carry on business in Montana. And I've got a few things here to show where they're lying through their teeth.
Well, see what Kim mentioned. He's trying to separate the Pennsylvania parent company from, well, the bastard child, the Watchtower Bible Craft Society of New York. And the thing is through their bastard child, Watchtower of New York, they have been conducting business through the Congregation of Jehovah's Witnesses. Once again, this is predictive programming because they have done business through New York.
Yeah. Number 9, Watchtower, Pennsylvania has no agent for service of process in Montana. Number 10, Watchtower, Pennsylvania has no contact with congregations of Jehovah's Witnesses located in Montana. Now remember that. They say they have no contact with any congregations of Jehovah's Witnesses located in Montana. Number 11, Watchtower, Pennsylvania does not establish or disseminate policy or procedure to congregations of Jehovah's Witnesses in Montana. Going on to page 3. Watchtower, Pennsylvania does not appoint or remove elders, ministerial servants, or publishers in congregations of Jehovah's Witnesses in Montana. Watchtower, Pennsylvania exists to provide certain business needs of Jehovah's Witnesses, including, among other things, holding copyright to books, magazines, songs, and videos. It also provides international humanitarian aid to communities after natural disasters.
What communities outside of Jehovah's Witnesses do they provide aid to?
See, so Brumley just said they hold the copyright to the books, magazines, songs, and videos.
There's the parent corporation.
Yeah. The publications to which Watchtower, Pennsylvania owns copyrights include the Watchtower and Awake magazines, as well as books, tracts, and brochures that are used to explain various aspects of the Bible. Watchtower, Pennsylvania does not author those substantive content or print hard copies of the books, magazines, brochures, and tracts referred to above. Okay, I might have to disagree with that because in my reference Bible, it says the Watchtower Bible Tract Society of Pennsylvania.
It's got both corporations right on the front page. That's how we knew way back then that they're two corporations.
Yeah. On the contrary, the copyrighted materials are published by co-defendant Watchtower Bible Tract Society of New York, a separate corporation. Watchtower New York was organized and exists under the laws of the state of New York as a not-for-profit religious corporation. Its headquarters are in Wallkill, New York. And then it's signed by Philip Brumley, Esquire. So that was his affidavits. So you can see why the plaintiffs are like, oh, they're lying out their teeth, right? Yeah. All right. Now, there was a couple of motions that they wanted sanctions against Brumley and Watchtower for his lies or misrepresenting this. And in document number 106, here on page 9 of the PDF, and it says, overall, plaintiffs accused Mr. Taylor, which was another lawyer working on this, and Mr. Brumley of making false statements to the court and hiding evidence to succeed on Watchtower, Pennsylvania's motion to dismiss on personal jurisdiction grounds. They've done nothing, and they haven't said anything false, so it's not their fault, right? Yeah.
It's not God's fault that he allowed a spirit to become deceptive.
Yeah.
Not only that, he ensured that it was going to come off successful. What's happened here, Brumley?
Yeah. Now, also in that document 135, which is the final document where they are doing kind of like an overall of this motion that they had misinformation, lies in their previous affidavits. Plaintiffs have presented documents in the months since Watchtower, Pennsylvania filed this motion to dismiss. For example, plaintiffs presented a 1970 letter from a former Watchtower, Pennsylvania president in which Watchtower, Pennsylvania appears to dismiss a member of the Jehovah's Witness congregation due to that member's actions. Document 1, Exhibit 3. Now remember, they said they don't have anything to do with the congregations and they don't have anything to do with the publishers or appointing elders or ministerial servants or publishers or anything like that. Okay? Another document presented by plaintiffs is a 2002 letter from Watchtower, Pennsylvania to an official at BBC TV Panorama, document 21, Exhibit 4. In the letter, Watchtower, Pennsylvania's Director of the Office of Public Information provides a detailed explanation of how the Jehovah's Witness organization responds to reports of CSA using the language, our procedures, and our policy. Well, that certainly sounds like they're, in control of congregations and stuff to me. Additional letters from Watchtower, Pennsylvania advise various Jehovah's Witness congregation on matters including handling a CSA at the hands of church members, including letters addressed to all bodies of elders. And they have this in documents 29, exhibits 1 through 4. And I just happen to have one, since thanks to Atlantis, we have all the elders' letters. I would like to read this, because I would love to show this to every Jehovah's Witness, especially our moms, because they don't have a clue. Now remember, I mentioned in previous videos and in the Pinkava case that all of these latest court cases, they are claiming they have clergy penitent privilege. And the rank and file Jehovah's Witnesses are like, well, when did it, no, we don't. We don't have a clergy class. Okay? Well, this explains it. May 15th, 1987. And it has the Watchtower Bible Tract Society of Pennsylvania letterhead at the top. We are writing in connection with expressions found in the Kingdom Ministry School textbook, 1981, page 147, where in the opening paragraph reference is made to the law on ecclesiastical privilege. A number of inquiries have been received of late concerning the validity of the above law in this country. It appears that some difficulties have been experienced by elders in dealing with authorities, particularly the police, pursuing inquiries about members of the congregation. Apparently, they were of the view that confidential information in their possession was protected by the above law. That's the clergy penitent privilege. The Society has taken legal opinion on this subject, and our understanding is that whilst congregation records are protected as a matter of strict law, there is no ecclesiastical privilege in this country. If, therefore, an elder receives information from a member of his congregation in confidence, he may nonetheless, in certain circumstances, be compelled in a court of law, whether criminal or civil, to disclose that information. But yet, look at now how they fight that. Additionally, if an elder gave advice deliberately intended to ensure either that a criminal offense did not come to the attention of the authorities, or more particularly to persuade a brother or sister not to make a report of the offense, then he could lay himself open to a charge of attempting to pervert the course of justice. An elder who receives confidential information that a member of the congregation has committed a criminal offense is under no obligation in law to report that offense to the authorities, and commits no offense simply by remaining silent. However, if he is approached by the police or some other authority, such as the social services, and invited to reveal information considered by him to be confidential, he will need to consider carefully the extent to which he ought to properly cooperate and answer questions, thereby assisting with such inquiries. As this is a difficult and technical part of the law, we would strongly recommend that elders contact the branch office for legal advice before making any statement to the police, solicitors, or social workers. And we know how well that went in the Pinkava Scott case, don't we? Oh, my goodness.
I just have to sit here and chuckle.
Yeah. Now, document number 101, filed December 3rd, 2021. Let me see here. This was plaintiff's motion for sanctions, and this is where they're wanting sanctions. Page 2. Plaintiffs, by and through undersigned counsel and pursuant to 28 in the court's inherent authority to sanction lawyers who abuse the judicial process, hereby move for sanctions to be imposed on defendant Watchtower Bible Tract Society of Pennsylvania's attorneys, Philip Brumley and Joel Taylor, for knowingly making and perpetuating false statements with the hope that they would be relied on by the court to dismiss plaintiff's case, and unreasonably and vexatiously multiplying these proceedings for the purpose of obstructing plaintiff's claims. They need to be fined, and I think they need to have criminal charges against them for obstructing a legal proceedings and for perjury. This is perjury right here. Ugh. A supporting brief is being filed contemporaneously herewith. Counsel for defendants were contacted regarding this motion and stated they oppose it. Well, of course they're going to oppose it. Oh my goodness. All right. Now, what's interesting is when you go to document 38, filed October 1st, 2020, on page 4, the plaintiffs allege that Watchtower, Pennsylvania is liable under negligence per se, and punitive damage theories. But it's Watchtower, Pennsylvania's position. It is it is not, they don't know how to type. It is not subject to personal jurisdiction in Montana, and therefore plaintiff's claim against Watchtower, Pennsylvania are not actionable in Montana. Then when you go down to the bottom of that page under subheading C, factual basis for each claim or defense. Okay? As noted above, Watchtower, Pennsylvania's position, it is not subject to personal jurisdiction in Montana. See, and those elders' letters and elders' manuals and everything dispute that. Watchtower, Pennsylvania did have active role in congregation matters and appointing and disfellowshipping, all of that going on. The factual basis for this position is addressed in documents 14 and 25, which are adopted and incorporated herein by reference. Summarily, Watchtower, Pennsylvania is not at home in Montana, as it is a nonprofit religious membership corporation formed under the laws of the state of Pennsylvania that has its registered office in Tuxedo, New York. So see, they're trying to get out of this, saying that there's no jurisdiction, and they're trying to use everything to get out of this. But as we know, it doesn't matter if your main headquarters is in that state or not. Same thing with a secular business. If your branch is in that state, aka congregations, then you are liable. All right, now document 135 here, filed 2 days ago. I just want to read here, there's some interesting things on page 12 and 13. They're already claiming that, they're not responsible, but yet they have all of this evidence that was put into evidence, submitted to evidence. Reading here at the bottom of the page of 12. Finally, plaintiffs recently submitted the affidavit of Watchtower, New York's former Assistant Secretary Treasurer Don Adams from 1986. Adams describes the structure of Jehovah's Witness organization, including that of a governing body that directs all teaching and congregational activities of Jehovah's Witnesses globally. Adams further states, the principal corporation used by the governing body is the Watchtower Bible Tract Society of Pennsylvania.
Your friends have to try to recognize something here. That's why corporations have a structure that include a president, a secretary, and that president, although his office may be in Pennsylvania, that president still oversees legally, from a corporate perspective, the Watchtower Bible Tract Society's governing body. What they've done here is they've reversed it. They're trying to make everybody think that the governing body is in control of Pennsylvania. And that's simply not true, because when it comes to a corporate structure, the president is the guy in charge.
Yeah, exactly.
You see, like right here, they're trying to say Adams describes the structure of Jehovah's Witness organization, including that of the governing body that directs all teaching and congregational activities of Jehovah's Witnesses globally. Adams further states its principal corporation used by the governing body is the Watchtower Bible Tract Society of Pennsylvania. So they're trying to reverse corporate rules, hoping that the court won't catch on to what they're doing.
Yeah, yeah. And like the sanction, the order from the judge that I read at the beginning. Well, now Watchtower and Brumley are going to have to pay all of the plaintiffs' attorney fees, costs, you name it, for discovering all of these documents. So who knows how long it took the lawyers and everybody to do research, and you know what, this should be case dismissed, or not dismissed, but case decided right now. If they lied about this, what else have they lied about?
What are they lying about?
Yeah. side in favor of the plaintiffs. Yeah. So he goes on in this letter that Adams wrote, or this,
Yeah, Adams.
yeah,
Don Adams.
yeah. Which I think later on he did become the president of Watchtower, Pennsylvania, if I remember right.
I think you're right, but I think he did become president.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So under the Watchtower Bible Tract Society of Pennsylvania, the governing body directs 95 branches through branch committees that report their progress to the governing body. So see, this even states that the governing body is under the Watchtower of Pennsylvania. Okay, going on in the document 135. Taken together, these documents demonstrate that in past decades, Watchtower, Pennsylvania played a more involved and pivotal role in the operation of Jehovah's Witness congregations. The documents also demonstrate that evidence of this influential role existed, and that Brumley, as general counsel for Watchtower, Pennsylvania, should have been able to access the information at the time he made his sworn statements. By seemingly failing to investigate and provide a more accurate description of Watchtower, Pennsylvania's activities in past decades, Brumley's actions demonstrate, at minimum, a reckless disregard for providing an accurate and truthful accounting of Watchtower, Pennsylvania's role. Oh, he's very well aware it wasn't, reckless disregard.
We've never been sitting at the high position of Watchtower, and yet we can see they're lying. We're just plain old rank and file people, and we know he's lying.
Yeah.
We even know better the structure of Watchtower. Why? Because we've been in it, or had been in it for 40 plus years. All of this stuff was first-hand knowledge when we were in it. So how could some idiot lawyer like Brumley not see it when the rank and file could easily see it?
Yeah, going on. After all, Brumley could accurately describe Watchtower, Pennsylvania's past activities in Montana regarding whether or not Watchtower, Pennsylvania operated offices in the state or was registered to do business in the state. Yet Brumley chose to describe Watchtower, Pennsylvania's contact and role in congregational affairs in Montana solely in present tense. This demonstrates to the court a conscious decision to provide only a limited depiction of Watchtower, Pennsylvania's corporate activities and a reckless disregard of documents and other evidence describing a different Watchtower, Pennsylvania in the 70s and 80s. Big surprise. The relevant time frame for plaintiff's claims. Brumley's conduct permitted Watchtower, Pennsylvania to file its motion to dismiss that then multiplied the proceedings for 17 months through jurisdictional discovery and motions to compel. So he cost the court and the plaintiffs 17 months of jurisdictional discovery.
Well, let me put that in layman's terms. He wasted the court's time.
Yeah.
Just like the Watchtower Bible Crop Society, all they do is they waste the time of Jehovah's Witnesses.
Yeah.
That's all they do, is they're just wasting people's times. Waste their time sitting by their stupid little shopping carts. Waste their time going to the Kingdom Hall thinking they're learning about the God of the universe. They've wasted all of our lives thinking, well, we're not going to grow old. We're not going to have children in this system. Michael, I'm going to die and still be in this system. What a flat-out waste of everybody's time.
Yeah.
Time you can't get back.
Yeah. And document number 133 that was filed August 11th, 2022, they have a couple of them, but the main document is Watchtower claiming the clergy patent privilege, of course.
Well, like I said in previous videos over the years, they're gonna have to get in line with rest of Christendom.
Yeah. Well, like I read in that elder's letter back in 1987, that's what they were saying, that they were starting at that time to run into problems with not having a clergy class. And I think that's probably when they started saying, okay, we have a clergy, the elders and everybody are clergy.
Well, and the way that they still maintain a separation is they put in the word, well, we don't have a paid clergy, but we have a clergy. They just work for free.
Yeah.
See, that's how they were trying to get away with this and still maintain, one, they did have a clergy, and two, they were separate by claiming they weren't paid. It's all a tennis game in words, and I just wish that this modern day Jehovah's Witness class would just start paying attention to how they twist the words, but they just simply don't. They don't pay attention to how Watchtower twists the words.
Yeah. Now, I just want to mention here in closing that on document 106, the one that was filed December 28, 2021, on page 3 of the document, page 9 of the PDF, they're claiming that Taylor, the other Watchtower lawyer, has done nothing in this lawsuit but file a motion for admission in pro hac vice and appear at a deposition. Despite the absence of any alleged sanctionable conduct in this case, plaintiffs claimed, without a shred of evidence, that Mr. Taylor's relationship with Watchtower New York gives him unfettered access to information about Watchtower, Pennsylvania, and that this access should have compelled him to disclose the existence of a publication that Watchtower, Pennsylvania had already produced to plaintiffs. The rationale is at best bizarre. We know he had access to everything because all the lawyers have access to any corporation that Watchtower, has.
Lie upon lie upon lie.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, like I said, if anybody wants to grab these documents and look over all of this and show them to your JW family, I know it's hard to get them to even look at court documents because they think it's apostate lies.
You can't even get them to look at the Bible without them saying, well, this is apostate. I mean, come on, friends.
Yeah.
If you can't get them to look at their own literature that's even up on the shelf without making it disingenuous, how are you going to get them to look at this?
Yeah. And the next section on page 11 of the PDF, it says, Mr. Brumley was truthful and has done nothing warranting sanctions against him or Watchtower, Pennsylvania.
Well, that's the whole dichotomy. That angel was truthful in being a deceptive spirit.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm telling you, friends, this is all falling flat on its face. And YouTube and the internet is the sole reason for this, because they can't hide this stuff no more. I mean, if anybody wants to know what they wrote 30 years ago, just ask us. We got the hard copy.
Yeah. Like here at the bottom of page 6 on the document, page 12, it says, moreover, the letters the plaintiffs cited are at best irrelevant and do not contradict anything Mr. Brumley said. Documents 21 attachment 3 was a 1970 letter that was not sent to anyone in Montana. And it's like, really? It went to all elders in the congregation, just using general terms, that a lot of these letters were sent to the body of elders. Not sent to anyone in Montana, but it doesn't matter because that 1970 letter, if I remember correctly, was the one that was stating the hierarchy or the organization and how it works. So they had to establish that, yeah, Watchtower, Pennsylvania and New York are sister companies. And it's like, wow, you get a headache reading, Watchtower's pretzel twisting of truth.
Well, you just got to sit here and ask yourself, how could any one or two human beings be this stupid?
Yeah.
Especially when they're involved with a religion that is supposed to be the epitome of truth and honesty in this Christian-based world.
Yeah.
Or at least this Christian-based country.
Yeah, exactly. So, if you're interested in reading this document 106, they go through each individual submission that the plaintiffs had, the letter to the BBC and all of that. They go through Adam's statement and all of that, trying to defend it, which is, it will give you a headache.
Well, here's one great big lie. The United Nations is the wild beast, and yet Brumley is giving speeches in the halls, in the bellies, and in the bowels of the wild beast, the United Nations. You can't get any more plainer than this.
Yeah.
It's because these guys know. These men know there's no such thing as Armageddon ending this system of things, and that's why they keep trying to, grovel for air, even though they keep sinking below the water's level.
Yeah. Yeah. Like when Brumley mentioned that Watchtower, Pennsylvania only holds copyrights and provide humanitarian aid. Again, Mr. Brumley did not say that, nor do the documents bear on Watchtower, Pennsylvania activities in Montana. So what they're trying to say is all of this evidence that was presented showing there is a connection between Watchtower, Pennsylvania and New York, they're trying to say, oh, well, it doesn't apply. It's irrelevant because this did not apply specifically to Montana.
But that's different. Anybody could have seen that coming.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
You hang around Jehovah's Witnesses and you're going to hear that a lot. But that's different. Here it is in a legal document. It doesn't apply because that's different.
Yeah. Like the letter I read, they say, document 29, attachment 2, is a letter from Watchtower, Pennsylvania to elders in England. Its use of the words inquiries and wilds and its mention of the absence of ecclesiastical privilege in this country are giveaways of the fact. Plaintiffs provide no evidence the document was ever circulated in the United States. So just because that letter was sent to elders in the UK, they're saying it doesn't apply in this country because it wasn't sent to anyone in Montana.
Okay. Now correct me if I've got this incorrect, but I can recall the governing body sending out a letter to all congregations that if you want to make a large donation or will your things to Watchtower, will it to who?
Well, it's in
Pennsylvania.
Well, it's
right?
It's in the documents for those who have estate planning that they want to give everything to Pennsylvania. And Mike's right. That goes to Pennsylvania. It's Pennsylvania that sets that up.
So there's your connection. Absolutely right there. If you have an estate that you want to donate to Watchtower, send it to the parent company, Pennsylvania. There's your connection, friends. Brumley.
Yeah.
I used to be a rank and file, and I even know that.
Yeah. But anyway, they're referencing several of these, documents and evidence that was submitting, and they're trying to claim, well, like here in the last sentence on page 15 of the PDF, it did not suggest that Watchtower, Pennsylvania engaged in any activity in Montana. And that's what they're claiming.
How can you tell when Brumley's lying? His mouth is moving. Hey, I got a riddle. What is 100 Watchtower loiters at the bottom of an ocean suggest? That it's a good start.
Oh, that's bad. That's bad. That's terrible. That's terrible.
That's what you call them. A good start.
Well, that's why they have to have all these lawyers, because between
That's right.
all of them, they might be able to come up with something that'll get them out of this mess.
Yeah. Instead of turning to Jehovah for help, I got to turn to the court system, to the same very system that they've been preaching for over 100 years that Jehovah is going to bring to an end, and yet you're turning to the very thing that you've been preaching God is going to destroy for help.
Yeah.
Tell me how that really works in the psychological process of, well, somebody like my mother's mind.
Yeah. So like I said, I will put the link down below to this court case on Court Listener. You can get the documents. Like I said, there's blue buttons down the right-hand side. Download PDF. Some you would have to, buy through Pacer. I don't have a Pacer subscription. But you kind of get the idea with the free documents that are available, and the main documents are available in PDF, so you can download those. And this was fun. This was fun. I know it was longer than most of the court cases I handle, but I mean it just had to be mocked because of Bumbling Brumley.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, trying to get out, and you thought nobody would catch it? All of us that are keeping our eye on these court cases,
Right.
We're helping the prosecuting attorneys and the courts and the judges. We're helping them with this information and documents and elders' letters and stuff.
Hey, Brumley, clearly you have underestimated the apostates. Why don't you people sit down and try to get rid of that label? Because as long as you're going to make us bear that label, we're going to keep doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
They just can't see it.
Well, I forget what video you were watching, but I like the term now, we're recovering Jehovah's Witnesses.
I think Jane Doe made that comment in one of her videos referring to Michael Moore, who's a recovering Catholic.
Oh, okay.
Why are so many people recovering from religion these days?
Well, we're recovering Jehovah's Witnesses, and there's a lot of baggage with that.
There's going to be a lot to recover from as long as these idiots keep trying to think that they're innocent in Satan's courts.
Yeah. Yeah, ain't gonna happen. These courts aren't as dumb as you think they are.
And neither are ex-members.
Yeah.
Especially those that have got a shelf full of literature.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Well, it looks like we need to answer the phone, so...
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.